Paul Warne, game designer and artist, and I was commissioned by the SAT to work with them and a team there to create this installation. That's we're currently in Montreal at the Grande bibliothèque where it's installed, and these people here who are actually waving at us right now are in Vancouver at the Great Northern Way campus. It's a part of the Code Festival that's associated with the Winter Olympics. Sure, well, when they started, they knew they wanted to do a telepresence project. They had the technology for doing it, and so they knew they wanted people in Vancouver to interact with people in Montreal. But they didn't necessarily have a particular design or an aesthetic to do it. And the Code Festival is an art festival. And that's when I became involved to help give them some sort of design idea, which is Breaking the Ice, which is the name of the piece. And so based on the Winter Olympics, we wanted to create something, you know, with the snow and the ice, and there's the association with getting to know somebody, which was the largest part, I think, of the design in making a piece that's a game and interaction, is to emphasize what the Olympics are about, which is people from all over coming together to play sports, to have this codified way of working together and playing together to bring people together. And so I think this, as an installation, that's what it's trying to achieve. Yeah, for helping, but mostly just on the software. There was an engineer who did this beautiful case. And in terms of, so I designed a lot of the interactive design, working closely with Mike Wisniewski, the lead programmer. We came up with the basic sort of, these are the modes, these are the types of puzzles, these are the type, you know, this is what the interactivity is going to be like. And I also kind of did the art direction in terms of, okay, well, this is, you know, it's going to be this icy theme, and it's going to look like this. Well, actually, about only a couple months. Yeah, so that was one of the biggest challenges probably for the project, was that this was something that started, I believe, at least as far as my involvement, into October is when it began, and I was done with my work about 2 weeks ago. So the deadline was definitely having to work with, I'd worked with Mike before, but the rest of the team was relatively new. And so there was the challenge of time always, but we got together well enough and we're on the same page well enough that we're pretty happy with the results. So yeah, we had a project manager at the SAT who worked closely with us in terms of, you know, all the hardware specifications. We had to work, you know, building the whole machine, not just the software, which is pretty cool. I mean, I have a background in video game design and level design for like console games. So I've never really worked on something where, you know, you're with the engineers and the people saying, well, this is what's going to go inside the box, as well as, you know, to support the software. So that was a really great new experience. Yeah. What gives me the most gray hair on this project except for time? That's a good question. This is the first time I've done a post-mortem on it. Shaders were new for me. I mean, that's more of a technical thing, I guess. I'm used to working, again, being a level designer and an installation artist. I work with space in 3D, not so much with level artists or people who are used to, you know, what shaders can do now. And so fortunately we had a really great shader artist who came in to work with us and kind of help lead me through it. Even though I'm the art director, most of what you're seeing is his work. Obviously, because we designed how the shader would work in terms of being able to erase and draw on it and do all those things. But it was really, you know, his coding that opened this world to us. So that was a technical challenge for me to try to understand and to integrate into this engine that's kind of built out of, well, for the most part, an open source software. You know, the engine, the communications network, everything's at the SAT is very much open source. So you are building things from scratch and making the tools to build it. In terms of, you know, working with touchscreens, I've worked a little bit for iPhone development, but not a lot. And so this was a great, you know, well, what can a touchscreen do? Can you touch it more than once? And if not, what happens? those kinds of issues. And as we're learning today, this is the first day I've been here. It was just started yesterday, and so there's this element of not necessarily being able to play test something until it's installed, as opposed to typical software development where, okay, you have your consoles and you can play the game and know what's going on and how the client is going to be able to use it. But here, this being an art festival there and a library here, and wanting to see if people will work together, because you have to think about the design of that interactivity. So that's still to be determined. I hope people are going to have a fun time with it, because I know we had fun making it. So.